There is a question that does not announce itself. It arrives quietly, usually at night, or in the pause between two obligations. It asks, what if the life you are living is not the one you were meant to live? This is not a question about regret, not exactly. It is deeper than that. It is a question about the lives that branch off from every choice we make, the lives we do not live. The philosopher Milan Kundera called this the unbearable lightness of being, but perhaps it is heavier than we think. Consider this: every decision you have ever made has closed certain doors forever, not temporarily, not until you change your mind. Forever, the person you did not become, the city you did not move to, the conversation you did not have, these are not mere hypotheticals, they are real absences. They are the negative space of your existence. And here is the uncomfortable truth. We are haunted not by the lives we failed, but by the lives we refused to imagine. In modern life, we are told that more choice equals more freedom. The philosopher Renata Salical argues the opposite. She suggests that endless choice creates a paralysis, a kind of existential vertigo. When every path is open, no path feels fully chosen. Think about the last major decision you made. Did you feel liberated, or did you feel, beneath the excitement, a subtle anxiety, the anxiety that you were closing doors, that you were, in some sense, dying to other versions of yourself? This is what the existentialists understood. Jean-Paul Sartre wrote that we are condemned to be free. Condemned because freedom is not a gift. It is a burden. We must choose, and in choosing, we must take responsibility for a world that we did not create, but that we must now justify. But there is something Sartre did not fully address: the weight of the unchosen, the lives that accumulate in the shadows of our decisions like dust. They do not disappear, they settle. There is a mathematical concept called the many-worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics. It suggests that every possible outcome of every decision actually occurs in some branching universe. In one world, you took that job. In another, you said yes. In another, you stayed. Physicists debate whether this is true, but psychologically, it feels true. We live as if these other worlds exist. We compare our lives to them. We measure our happiness against the happiness of people we never became. The philosopher Henry Bergson had a different view. He believed that time is not a series of discrete moments like beads on a string. It is a continuous flow, a duration in which past and present coexist. The past is not gone. It is simply no longer active. It has settled into the bedrock of who we are. If Bergson is right, then the unlived lives are not elsewhere. They are here, compressed into the person you have become. Every refusal has shaped you. Every path not taken has carved the path you did take. This is not consolation, but it is a kind of coherence. Your life is not missing something. It is the sum of everything you did not choose, just as much as it is the sum of everything you did. The Stoics had a practice they called premeditation of evils. They would imagine the worst outcomes of their choices, not to depress themselves, but to prepare themselves, to strip away the illusion that any single path would have led to perfect happiness. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor philosopher, wrote to himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But notice what he does not say. He does not say that the unlived life is irrelevant. He says that our power lies in how we relate to it. The Stoic does not ignore the branching paths. He accepts them as part of the terrain. He does not demand that the world offer him only one perfect road. He demands only that he walk the road he is on with clarity. There is a difference between acceptance and resignation. Acceptance is active. It is a choice to stop fighting the structure of reality. Resignation is passive. It is a surrender to despair. The Stoic walks this line carefully. Sartre's rival, Albert Camus, approached this differently. He began with what he called the absurd. The absurd is the confrontation between the human need for meaning and the silent, indifferent universe. We want the world to explain itself. It refuses. Camus used the myth of Sisyphus. Sisyphus is condemned to roll a boulder up a mountain forever, only to watch it roll down again. This is the human condition, endless struggle, no final victory. But Camus imagined Sisyphus happy. How? Because Sisyphus knows the boulder will fall. He knows his labor is futile, and in that knowledge he finds a strange freedom. The freedom to abandon hope for a different outcome. The freedom to say, this is my boulder, this is my mountain. I will push it, not because it will stay at the top, but because the pushing is mine. The unlived life is another boulder. We can spend our lives looking back at the mountain we did not climb, or we can find meaning in the weight we have chosen to carry. Buddhist philosophy offers a radical interruption to this whole conversation. The Buddha taught that suffering arises from attachment, and what is the unlived life, if not the ultimate attachment? Attachment to a self that does not exist, attachment to a future that never arrived. The concept of anatta, or non-self, suggests that there is no fixed identity to which these unlived lives could belong. You are not a solid thing that made choices. You are a process, a pattern of causes and conditions. The person who would have lived that other life is not you. They are a different pattern entirely. This can be liberating. If there is no fixed self, then there is no fixed loss. The branches that fell away did not fall away from you. They fell away from conditions that no longer exist. The regret you feel is not yours. It is a habit of thought, a kind of mental weather. But here is the difficulty. Even if we accept the Buddhist view intellectually, we still feel the weight. The heart does not read philosophy. It knows what it knows. The challenge is not to eliminate the feeling, but to change our relationship to it, to see the feeling as weather, not climate. Let me bring you back to the present, to this moment, wherever you are listening. The unlived life is a kind of fiction. It is a story we tell about ourselves, but the lived life is always here. It is always now, and now is the only place where anything can happen. The philosopher Eckhart Tolle, drawing on many traditions, emphasizes this. The past is memory. The future is imagination. Only the present is real. And yet, we spend so much of our present mourning the past or fearing the future that we miss the only existence we actually have. This is not a call for naive positivity. It is not saying that all choices are equal or that you should never look back. It is saying that the looking back must serve the looking forward. Regret, properly used, is information. It tells you what you value, but it must not become your dwelling place. I want to leave you with a meditation, not a spiritual practice, but a thought experiment. Imagine that tomorrow you will forget every unlived life. Every branch that fell away will be erased from your memory. You will remember only the path you walked. Would you walk it differently today? Most of us would. We would walk it with more attention, more gratitude, more urgency. We would see that the path we are on is not a consolation prize. It is the only path that produced this consciousness, this awareness, this moment of listening, of thinking, of being alive. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche had a concept he called amor fati, love of fate, not acceptance, not tolerance, love, the active, joyful embrace of everything that has happened exactly as it happened. To say, I would not change a single thing, not because everything was good, but because everything was necessary, and because to change one thread would unravel the whole. The unlived life will always whisper. Let it whisper, but do not let it shout down the life you are living. The weight of the unlived is heavy only because the life you have chosen is real, and reality, with all its limits, is the only place where meaning can grow. Thank you for listening.